So let's do a little class on Inshot. I'm sure most of you have already had a look at it, but it's a freemium video editing tool that's both on Android and iOS that is pretty powerful without being too complicated, but it can be overwhelming at first glance. Let's have a look. Has everybody got it open on their phone? We'll go through it. We'll go through it together.
So mine just goes to, when I open it on my phone, it goes to photos that I've been editing, and I don't know where to find the video part.
So if you, so I'm going to assume you're in this part.
Yes, except I don't have music stickers. I've got canvas, filter, adjust, effect. I've got.
That's okay. They might be in different places on different phones. That's fine.
Okay.
So just press in. You see in the top here, this little arrow.
Yes.
Yep. Just go back there. So we're just going. I've already selected my videos.
So it's telling me to discard.
You can discard or you can save as a draft. But we're just going to start from the beginning to go through so that everybody's at the same pace.
Yep, I'm there.
Cool. So just either press new, or if you've already started a draft that you're working on, you can select that. If you are selecting the videos, you should see a grid of photos or videos. You can select a bunch of them. The order that you select them in is the order that they'll appear. We can reorder them later, but just select any videos that you want to use.
So I've just clicked video on there, and then do I just click new?
Yeah. Or you can continue on with the other ones. This is just an exercise to teach you guys the tools. What you'll see on my screen is nothing super special, just a run through of the tools. So then once you've imported those videos, so we've got a few sections here. We've got the video section here. We've got the play button just here that you can use to play to preview your video. We've got the list of tools here. They may be looking slightly different on yours. That's absolutely fine. And we've got the undo and redo. So once you do something, we'll just do something real quick. Just going to flip something. So as you can see, we've got the undo button here. So we can undo and redo. And if you want to add more videos or photos, you can use this plus button. And then we've got, I'm going to call these segments, each one a segment, and then I'm going to call the whole thing a reel, which I hope is not confusing.
You've got several videos in there. Did you upload several videos, or are you just cutting one video?
I took and uploaded several videos. So each one is their own section and is separately editable. So I just to make the examples show off more. So we've got like just a whole bunch of random videos that I've got from different times that we've shot in Incubator. So first thing, which I'm just going to go through some very, very basic tools before we get into anything more complicated. So the most basic thing is just to reorder the videos. So I'll just redo that again. So down here where the reel of videos are, if you just click anywhere tap anywhere on there, tap and hold, and it will come up where you've got all of them again, but they have the times on them. So that is where you can rearrange them. So if you click and tap on any of them, the one that you've selected, you can rearrange that, putting it back or forward. And then if you want to change to a different one, you just tap on the different one, and then you can move that one around. And then when you're done, you just tap on the one that you've got selected, and you'll go back to there. And it'll keep selected the last one that you edited. The next very basic thing, deleting. So all you need to do to delete a section that you don't want anymore is just to select that section and then press delete. That's pretty straightforward. And then if you've accidentally done it, you can just bring it back in with your undo.
Sorry, where is the delete button?
So if you see so I'll just go back to the start. So all of our tools might be slightly in different orders. So on mine, we've got along here, we've got pre-cut, split, delete. So it's just delete. Have you found that, Nancy? Yeah, okay, great. There are two more tools that I would call very basic. I don't particularly use these, but just so that we are going to go through each tool to explain what it is, that you know that you don't have to worry about it, but you'll know what it is duplicating. So if you wanted to duplicate, so you've got two of the same video, sometimes on between iPhone and Android, we might have different symbols or they might be in different orders. All of the tools should be there on both. They just might look slightly different. Then you've also got replace. All replace does is replace the video you've got with a video that you select from your grid. Most of the time I would just delete it and then re-add it. You can add a new video again with this plus icon if you want to add more videos later on to your project. When we are taking a video, it's almost never in the same ratio as what we want to upload it as. When you upload to Instagram, you usually want it to be square. If you want it to be in Reels or stories, you tend to want it to be long. So we've got this really cool little tool up the front here called Canvas, or it's up the front for me. And so what that lets you do is it lets you change it into all these different aspect ratios. There are two orders you might want to do this in. You might want to edit your video and then do this so that you can save it under multiple different ratios. I would recommend, especially when you're starting, to the start so you can see exactly what's in frame, because sometimes different ratios are going to cut things off the side or cut things off the top, and you want to be able to know what people are going to see at the end. So right now we're on no frame. Say I wanted to put this in my Instagram feed, I might go 1:1 and see how that's made the whole thing square. So that's fine, but you can see we've got these bars up the top and down the bottom, and that might look a bit stupid depending on what you want. So you can use this slider to bring that in or out, and you can just make it full screen there. So now that's made the video square, but say I wanted to bring it up the top, say.
How did you get that slider? I'm on 1:1.
You're 1:1, and do you have this slider here?
No, I've got ratio, zoom, background, and a tick mark.
It would be zoom, I'm assuming.
Ah, there it is. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, great. So then that you'll bring it out. I would usually full screen it, so then you can see from top to bottom, and you're not you will be cutting things off, but I mean, that's a trade-off for different aspect ratios. And then you can use your finger to slide and see different parts of the canvas. And then you'll just have to play it to make sure that what you want to see stays, especially if it's a video that moves a lot. And then so throughout Inshot, you'll see this a few times. We've got a single tick here and a double tick here. Now, the double tick means that any changes you've made to this with this tool are going to be put across every video that you've got in your reel, not just the one that you're editing. So rather than doing every single one, it may be easier just to do that. Sometimes you may need to do all, but now that has made that square and all of the subsequent videos square. You can always go back and change that. It doesn't crop it so that it loses the information. It just zooms in. So until you save the video and get rid of the draft, you can always come back and change that later on and change where it's focused in on. But say you didn't want to lose that information, say you wanted this space up the top, there is a tool in there called background, right? Now, background is one that I would say you probably don't need to use too often because it can look very cheesy or cheap to have like colored bars or gradient bars, or we've got patterns. different ways to show it. There's also, you can add your own photos. You can make just a blurred version of the video as those bars. But if you want to show the full video in a square format, that's how you would do it. Cool. And while I'm going through every tool, there is one called crop. I don't necessarily recommend that. It does pretty much the same thing as canvas. It's slightly harder to use, but if you do want to use it, you can be slightly more, you can use it slightly in a more detailed way. I wouldn't say that it's going to be something you use much of the time though. So as far as the canvas tools go, that's those ones. So then we're going to basic editing. Basic editing is where you can really start to get creative and use this to make videos that are a lot more interesting visually. The one that you can be the most detailed on would be, what's it called? Pre-cut. Now, pre-cut is what I think you were talking, I think Helen asked a question in chat about deleting individual frames. So this is where you can bring a video in or out. You can make it shorter from the end. You can make it shorter from the beginning. And so that you can just tighten up a video. You've also got cut. Cut is the equal and opposite. So that removes a section from the center. So say you were taking a video of yourself and you made a face you didn't like or whatever, you might just want to select around that face, and then you can press tick, and that will cut that piece out and take the other two into two videos. The other option is split. I use split a lot, so you can turn a long video into a bunch of little ones. So say you've got something that's happening, but it's taking a while, you can split that and go chop, moves ahead, chop, moves ahead, chop, moves ahead. So that's a way other than speeding something up that you can make something go faster and use up less time that keeps people engaged and it's interesting. Because people don't want to watch something that takes a long time to happen. People want to see it happening, but see it happening in a fast that's easily digestible. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this beautiful video as an example. So this is one that is shot in slow motion. So I could split it. So rather than taking, that's 7 seconds to go through this video, I can split it. So I'll go to 1 second, see if I'm holding it. It will tell me how long that is. So multi-split, 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 multi-split. So then I've turned this video into a bunch of different little videos, right? So then I'm going to go through, delete the second one, delete the fourth one. And so then see how that is more visually interesting, right? Visually interesting because it takes less time, but it's like bam, bam, bam. So I'm a big fan of the split tool. Another way to do the same things is the length nodes. So if you whenever you select any video down here, you've got these length nodes on either side. You can drag that in, drag that out, and when it reaches its maximum point, it'll turn from an arrow into a line. It's basically just the same way as what we were just doing. It's just a different way. It's slightly less accurate because you're in a smaller environment, but it's fine. I tend to use it more because it's just more easily accessible, but you find whatever is easiest for you. They're really easy to press by accident, those nodes. So just be careful that you're not shrinking your video by accident as you scroll between them. Then we've also got the split tool, which I've got right next to the pre-cut tool. That does the exact same thing as what I was showing you before, except it just happens out here instead of in that tool. It's slightly less accurate. It's harder to get down to those second things if you want a specific beat. But you don't have to go through don't have to go through several tools to do it. So I personally find that a little bit easier. These ones you might need, but if you just need to flip the canvas, so you might have a video that flips and then turns around, or you might have sometimes videos show where the text is going backwards, like on a t-shirt. So you just might need to flip it, but we've got a tool here for flip. That's just a horizontal flip. And then we've got the rotate over here, which weirdly is a anti-clockwise icon, but actually when you rotate, it is clockwise. But other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. Now that is pretty much the end of the basic tools. So those are the tools that I would say are the most important to get your head around when you're making videos of your work, because those are the ones that you can turn it into something that takes the right amount of time. Those are the ones that you can get things facing the right way. And the split tool, I think, is a really powerful tool that you can use to shorten or to get rid of sections that aren't as good. So we do have the speed tool here. It's just called speed. So all you need to do is click on it, and then you should have this bar down the bottom right. You can take it from 1 speed, which is regular speed, down to like a fraction of the speed, really slow motion. Can bring it up to 100 times the speed, which will be impossible to see. See how that just jumped by in a second? It does, unless you've got a super long video. I'll see if I can, yeah. So this one was shot in slow motion, but if I bring up the speed, then it's slow motion, but sped up. And you might need to play with it a bit to get it to the point where you're happy and that it's taking the right amount of time. You can also slow it down even more. Now, the thing is that it cannot create frames. Frames are like each individual image in a video. So you will, if you slow it down too much, it's going to look janky and not as smooth as you might like for a slow motion video. I would say speeding things up usually is a good way to make it look more visually interesting. Again, because you want to get as much information out to people as fast as possible. To complement that, we've also got the reverse tool. So this reverse tool here, you just click it while you've got your video selected, and that will reverse time so that it's going from end to beginning. It'll go in the same speed that it was. You can change the speed after the reverse tool, and then you can sort of make really creative effects, like someone moving backwards in slow motion. Cool. So then into speed, just so I can bring it back to regular speed. So now it's going in the opposite direction that it was at the beginning. So that's just another way of making more creative videos. There's also the freeze tool, which is the last tool in that sort of time section. All it does, so you just find the frame that you want to freeze at. So say you find this really beautiful frame and you want it to freeze on that. You just click freeze, this tool here, and then it will create a image frame that will, so I'll just bring that down a bit. So you can see how it will just stay still on that image and then move along. So as far as the creative speed editing, stuff like that, that's basically all you need to know. The next thing I was going to go into was sound, which can be quite useful for social media stuff. Obviously, when you're doing reels, so you can add music there, but sometimes you might not want to add music there. You might have your own music, you might not like the music there, or you might have the audio in the video that you want to use. If you're speeding up or slowing down, I think this was an issue Alistair ran into, is that you speed up the sound and you slow down the sound with the video, which you might not want to do. You might want to have the same speech or background sound. So what you can do is, if you find the video that you like the sound of, you click the video that you want to extract the audio from, then you just press extract audio, and that takes that audio and you can then move it around as its own layer. So that sound will remain unchanged even if you change the video. So for instance, if you're talking about creating a certain piece, if you're talking about what you're doing as you're going, you might want to extract that audio and put that over a video of you actually doing it, if you understand what I mean. And then you do have like dumb effects, which probably aren't super useful for what we're doing. And you can also add your own tracks here. So there's all the music that comes with Inshot. I would recommend not doing that. Just use the music from Instagram or TikTok if all you want is music. But say you have your own music, you can just select from music on your device, and so therefore add that in if you have anything that you wanted to do like that. And then editing music is just like editing the video. You just click the sound that you want to edit. You can move it around, you can split it, you can change the volume, you can delete it, you can duplicate it. So it's very similar. You're not learning different skills, it's just the same thing over again.
Sorry, Harry. So I don't have music on my phone. And when I press on that, it comes up featured iTunes or effects.
Yeah.
How do I get a song from YouTube? Or I can't. When you say get the song from Instagram, do you mean go back into Instagram and download the?
No, what I mean is, so right now we're editing the video. You can edit the video with or without audio.
Yeah.
So if you want to, if you're using this as a reel, but only as a reel, I would recommend not putting any music on it at all. Keep it no volume. Keep the volume at 0 for the video, and then when you upload it to Instagram, that's when you can select music and add that in.
So when you upload, just so, because I've not done that. So when you upload a reel, it gives you an option on Instagram to add the music then.
Absolutely.
I've never noticed. Okay.
No, that's okay. So Ellie's done an amazing video for reels and how to make them. So I won't go through that part of it, but just as far as the video editing side of it, I would say do the video here and then bring it into Instagram. If you're doing stories with it, if you're putting it on your feed, if you're doing reels, stories, feed, whatever, that will depend on whether you add music in here. Because if you're adding to your feed, like the traditional square format, then that is different than if you're adding to reels. They're two different feeds, if you're following me.
Okay.
So for reels, you can add music in Instagram. For your feed, if you don't want to use reels, then you would have to add audio here. For most of us now at the moment, we'd just be making reels. So there's not going to be any issue with that. But say you are doing it for your story, then you might want to get some background music or something, or you might want to put something of you talking here that you can mix with music. You can say, for instance, so I'm recording something. I say testing, 1, 2, 3, press stop, press tick. And now I've got, see how I've got 2 layers of audio. I've got video down the bottom here. Then I've got my audio track that I've put on top of it. And then I've got my recorded voice. So that might be something that you want to do if you wanted to put your own audio before you upload it to Instagram, if you wanted to have you speaking over it. Again, I'm just trying to tell you the tools. You can work out what is best for you to do with that, but I would definitely not recommend downloading from YouTube or something to add, like, because those songs are going to be copyright infringement. Instagram is going to either mute you or remove that video from Instagram, and so that kind of undoes all your work. So it's better just to go through the Instagram to add the music, or TikTok to add the music. I've got one lot of tools left to go through for everybody.
While we're there, Harry, because I feel like it might have gotten a little bit lost in what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
The record option is really good if you wanted to, say you've got your 30 seconds of video and maybe you're putting some background music in, then you can use the record function to say, hi, my name is this, and this is what I'm doing today. So if you're doing like a time-lapse video, for example, you'll get much better engagement, and it will be more interesting if you're talking over the top of it. So that, like, whenever I do talking over a video, that's where I'm doing it here in Inshot, using that record option.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you did talk about it, but I think it might have just got a bit
that's
lost
fine
in that discussion.
That's okay. And another thing to keep in mind is that, I think I did say it, when you're speeding something up or slowing it down, if you speed it up over 10 times, not only does the audio speed up, it'll actually just chop off the audio. If you're changing speed, I would say just put it over the top rather than using the background of the video. So the fun ones, if you go into filter, so now we've got a lot of different options here. Some of these are paid. So if you're just using it for free, you can't do everything here. But I just want to go through it as options that if you are paying for it later, or if you do pay to unlock certain things, you can use different filters here. You can use glitches, TV, just different things to make it look cool. I wouldn't overuse this kind of thing, just because it does end up looking a little bit cheesy. So go to effects. So you've got these options up the top here. So say, for instance, we wanted to have a beat to it. So say we were planning to put a music with a boom, 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 boom in the video. We might want to do something like this. Boom, boom. See how that sort of goes in and out. I'm not sure how well it translates through Zoom, but you can experiment with these types of things to make it go along with the music. There are others. I wouldn't necessarily use this for creative work because it does sort of distract from your product, which is, at the end of the day, the most important thing. You can see that those effects appear as their own layer over the top of your videos. So you can remove that so that it's no longer over your video. You can delete it. It's just like sound, it's just like video. Something that you might find more useful is filters. Now, this is more like filters that we would think about in the traditional Instagram way, where it sort of makes everything look a little bit more interesting. There are some really good filters in here, make things cinematic or interesting to look at. I would say use that, but don't overuse that. Because if it's too obvious or if it changes the color of your product, we don't want that. But if it shows it off in a way that's more visually impactful, or color corrects something that actually did look like that in real life, but then sort of through the lens went a bit weird, I'd say go for it. When you select a color filter that you like, if it's too strong, you can just press the filter above it to bring it down. Just like Instagram, but you've got more options there. And then adjust, which is, again, something that is in Instagram, but not as much for video. Video is a lot harder to adjust those things like lightness, contrast, just those little things. And I would just use these for little adjustments to make it you want it to look like, but try not to overuse it. like I have done as an example. The only other thing that I was going to talk about was transition between two different videos. So say, for instance, these are two very different videos just here. One goes between two different locations. Between each video, you can press this little, see this little notch here, little square with the little line in it. You can click that, and then that gives you all these transitions that you can use to go between different things that can make things flow a little bit better. Again, some of them are paid. If it makes your product better, I would say sometimes it's worth the money. Go through and see what they all look like before you pay for anything. There's Inshot Pro. I don't use Inshot Pro. I've never needed it for my videos, but if I did more, maybe I would. And then the very last thing that I was going to talk about, I haven't made a finalized video here to show you guys. It's only just again to show you the different tools. But when you're saving, you've got resolution. You can pick between things like 720p, 1080p, 4K. So what that means is the resolution of the final video, which will change two things: how detailed it is, but also the size it takes up. If you're doing this for social media, you do not need to do 4K, just do 720 or 1080p. I would leave it at 30 frames. And then you can see here what the estimated size of the file is. And then once you've saved it, upload it to social media, and yeah, then you're good to go. There are a few little tools in there that I haven't covered, but it would take too long to go through everything, and they are not useful for what we need to do.
I have a little tip.
Mm-hmm.
See in the bottom right corner how it says 848? That's the length of the video. So this is a huge video because Harry's got lots and lots of different videos in there.
Yeah.
But when you're making a reel, you want to make it either 15 or 30 seconds long. So what I often do is I'll be making a reel and it'll be 45 seconds or 40 seconds. So I will always look at that bottom corner, and then I'll speed up the video so that it fits within the 30 seconds, or I can crop it back and forth rather than getting all the way over to Instagram after exporting it and finding that it's not the right length.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's, you can keep an eye on that.
And how do you put it? So you sped it up.
Yeah.
How do you put it on a loop so it repeats 3 times?
Instagram reels will repeat anyway, and it would be better to let Instagram loop it because it'll count as more plays.
Yes.
Harry, do you want to show them how to add like a just like a black background and text?
Text was the one I skipped over because text is one of those things where Instagram has some really great text options, better than Inshot. But if you just press the plus button, you can go blank. So that's a blank one. You could make a blank. Oops. You actually have to press the tick and then you can tell I don't usually use this for text, but you can use it to put text in. You can change the duration of the text in that section so that it's going over the video if you want it to. You can add stickers. Like I would probably use the Instagram stickers over these ones. And then you can just go back in and press the edit button here if you wanted to. Don't do what I'm doing. Do that and then press the tick because that will save it. And I'm just being silly. Save. Now it's its own little frame. Yeah. Cool. Any other things that anybody wanted to know how to do?
Helen wants to know if a video can be created from photos.
Absolutely, yes. Select videos, photos to put in your video. You can create a what would you like, a slideshow of photos as a video, with all the same editing options as you would a video. You can actually use Inshot as quite a good photo editor just for regular photos as well. Back in the start, if you just select photo, you can use that to do glitchy effects, all the same visual effects as you could.
Sorry, Harry, can you add like still photos into the video?
Yes. Yeah.
So the one I tried filming before, I had lots of little short videos.
Mm-hmm.
Now thinking of it, I would have been better off just taking still photos of some of it. Like I kind of knew the end result I wanted, but because I was rushing, I just did a really bad job of trying to video it. I'm thinking I would have been better off just taking still shots of some of it and saying, okay, turn this into this via this.
Yeah.
And then doing the video bit.
Yeah. Well, if in the video that you do have that you want to take a still out of that video, you can always go to the freeze option and turn that part of the video into a photo.
Okay.
So then if you press freeze, you've basically turned part of the video into a photo, right?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So then you can use that to turn that video into a slideshow if that is more the look that you're going for.
Okay. And then I can crop that still shot.
Yeah, you can crop it just like you can a video. You just go into Canvas, move things around, crop them. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I need to play with it. There may be questions later.
I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, I think those of you that don't have iPhones are going to find this a lot better for making reels, because I know that Instagram can be a bit glitchy on Android.
Also, just
you've got way more power in this.
More control. There's a lot more you can do, and Instagram tends to lose drafts if you've started working on something and then want to come back to it later. Whereas Inshot, if you press the back button, you can always go back through in your drafts. It's got 29 drafts from videos I was editing ages ago, and just come back into it and then start working on it again. So you don't need to start and finish in the same session.
And I thought I would just mention that in the free version, when you go to save your video, it's going to play you an advertisement, and you need to get to the other end of the advertisement to save the video. So if you get past the advertisement.
That was one thing I did pay for. I paid to get rid of the ads a long time ago because I hate ads, but it's still, like, even with the ads, it's a really powerful tool, and there's so much creatively that you can do to make your videos a lot better. When you're talking about making videos for social media, you really want to be thinking, what can I do to get them watching from the start? If it's too monotonous, people tend to flip to the next thing. Obviously, we're living in a world where people have very short attention spans. So if you can do something that's a little bit more quirky, moving a little bit more different, or working in a way that shows off your best without those little bits in the middle, you're going to have a lot more, thousands more people seeing those videos. So a little bit of work can pay off so much. Thank you guys all so much for coming. This is my first time teaching a class, and not just one-on-one. So it was really nice to have so many friendly faces to look at.
Thank you
very much, Harry.
Thanks so much, Harry. You're really good at it.